Okay. Um, yeah, I don't know. Captain Fuckhead, like I said, he's probably frolicking in his garden. Not exactly sure where that motherfucker is. Um, but that's how it goes. I got to tell you guys, and first of all, hell to the chat. Dave is up in here. I'll forgive him. I know what it's like living in the UK. We need to soak up the sun, as we don't know if it'll ever come back. I can't. I've never been. I haven't spent time there, but that is my understanding. Um, yeah, I can understand that. Gargoyle says, "Don't lie. You're rubbing one off in the toilet." Well, no, I take care of that. I make sure I take care of that plenty of time in advance. You got to be relaxed. Got to be chill. So, that's a well-known technique. Um, Ryan Miller art. Yeah, I can see him doing it in full hoodie and cowl, of course. Doesn't he do everything in full hoodie and cowl? I mean, it's Captain Fuckhead. Um, uh, yeah, of course, my pressure is relieved. My pressure is definitely relieved. Feeling quite relaxed today, honestly, despite it's getting weird out there. It's getting weird out there. I mean, well, maybe when I say out there, I'm in California, so it's been weird for quite some time. We went ahead and elected Gavin Newsom, who was the mayor of San Francisco, turned that city into a toilet, right? Where you have to have a poop map, a shit map, to tell you where all the human fecal matter is located. Um, you know, Needles all over the place. All those wonderful liberal programs that just don't work. San Francisco, and then they went and elected the guy to governor of California, and yeah, he's going to implement all that statewide. So California soon to be a toilet. Ryan
Hey,
Miller
Rodney,
art.
how's it going?
Good man. I don't. Have you ever been on the show before?
No, I've never been on the show, just in the chat. But
Nice.
I've been listening to past couple of shows. I really enjoy, your style and the way you run the show, and it's
Nice,
uh,
man.
it's it's fun to listen to. How's it going?
I appreciate that. It's
What?
going well, dude. I'm missing my co-host. I'm feeling a little. I guess I'm a little sad about it, but I
uh,
I know he's got a good reason. I can't
yeah.
wait to hear it.
Well, I can't say that I'm a good replacement, but I wouldn't mind rapping with you today. I got some
Yeah,
time, and
yeah.
what
Let's.
I missed it because I was switching over. What did California do?
Oh well, the fuckers elected Gavin Newsom. He
Oh,
was
okay,
the
yeah,
the mayor of San Francisco. Like turned it into a literal toilet.
yeah,
So yeah, let's give him control of the whole fucking state.
yeah.
So this
Well,
guy just recently, out of the blue, like just when I feel like everyone's kind of coming to the conclusion that the reaction to this flu virus, COVID, is kind of like a bit overstated, maybe a bit, maybe we went too far with that. He comes out and said, now you can't go anywhere without wearing a mask.
yeah, I
Um,
hate that.
I
Um,
hadn't. I had from the beginning of this thing to now. I have not worn a mask.
mhm.
Uh, I don't. I don't go out a lot. I'm kind of. One of these people. I like being at home. I like my cave. But got to go out and do things every now and then. And we never were forced to wear a mask. Now you can't go grocery shopping. You can't do any of it without
I,
wearing a
I
mask.
I don't know how you live in California, right? That
Yeah.
this, yeah, I don't know how. I live in Washington State, and Washington State is just kind of like a mini California. Um,
Okay.
and it's pretty draconian west of the Cascades. Out here where I am, I'm in Spokane. It's a little more liberal with that stuff. But Inslee just the other day, that's our governor,
Yeah.
required that all of Yakima, which is like the winemaking country area, they've all got to wear 100% legal requirement. You have to have a mask. If you don't wear a mask out in public, you're being ticketed or arrested, which is It's right, yeah. I can't I can't even, man. Like, and I'm the same way like you. Like I'm kind of a homebody. You know,
Yeah.
I work for public schools generally, but that's done for the rest of the year at least. But either way, like I hardly go out, and when I do, I don't wear the mask unless it's required by the private business that I'm going into.
Right.
But I did perform one act of defiance the other day by not wearing a mask into Costco. That's how I was getting back at the man.
Nice. And how was that handled?
Nobody said
What did
anything.
Costco do?
They did nothing. I was
Nothing.
standing. Yeah, nothing. I nobody chose to say anything, and I think that was more telling to me than anything else, because what that said to me is that either nobody really cared, or I fantasized that everybody was silently rooting me on. So
Yeah, I think that might be part of it. I've got to say, welcome to the show, first of all, Dave.
All right, guys, how's it going?
hey,
Good. I've got it. My lady is, she's very stubborn, very tenacious, and she's quite passionate about the things going on right now. And on Saturday, two things happened to her that were really kind of shocked her. One was, well, she had a friend come in from out of town that she doesn't get to see very often, so it should have been a great day. They went to the grocery store, Safeway, and again required that she wear a mask going in. She looked at the dude, and this is typical. I wasn't there, but this is, she just walked right in. Didn't it? The guy went chasing after her. He went and got a mask and like hunted her down in the store and they made her put it on. So that was one. The second thing was they were meeting another friend in the park to have like a little lunch get together. And she was kind of expressing her feelings about it. Like, that it seemed like that, a lot of this was overkill, that it really wasn't necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And her friend just looked at her, said, "Stop talking," and walked away, left. A friend of 20 years. So it's like, this is where we find ourselves.
right.
We can't even have a conversation about it. People are so triggered. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. I was on the phone right about I want to say a month and a half ago. I was on the phone with a very good friend of mine, and I had just brought up the concept that if we don't open soon, like the country doesn't open up soon, we are going to kick ourselves so hard in the economic dick that we're not going to see the end of it for another 10 years.
Yeah.
His immediate response was one of incredulous emotion, and he called me. What did he call me? Well, I know he called me a moron.
Yeah.
Well, which I took exception to, and other names. And then he immediately went into saying that I can't believe you're going with Donald Trump talking points, which I was just like, in my head I was like, fuck you, dude. Oh, can I cuss on here?
Oh, dude, we love cussing. We can just
Okay.
say fuckity fuck balls all day long.
All right. good.
Fuckity fuck rotten. Where was the fucking link, you prick?
Hey, Captain Fuck.
What? Dude, did you not get the messages? I sent you several messages on Twitter. You didn't get them?
No, nothing at all.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and blame the giant corporation for failing rather than blame Captain Fuckhead, who is an infallible, brilliant superhero of our time.
That's
Like,
better. That's
yeah.
better. This is the second time in 2 days that I've had messages that I've either sent or supposed to have sent deleted to me. YouTube deleted one of my comments yesterday on the weekend woke up call. The fuckers.
I saw that.
Wankers.
I don't know,
Wasn't even-
man. There was an issue one time with like StreamYard links weren't working in Twitter, and it was like a 24-hour thing. I don't know. I don't know what's, it's crazy shit.
That's all right. I
Sometimes-
tracked it down on your timeline and stalked you.
Okay, good.
Stalked you like a proper SJW.
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. Hold on. Wait a second. I want to try and get you. Let me try and get you where you belong here.
There we go.
I mean, you don't deserve it, but we'll
No, of
we'll
course
put you-
not. Never. So, hello, Ryan.
Okay.
Nice to meet you. How you doing, Dave? Blue Muppet, how are you?
Yes, welcome,
Greetings,
George.
greetings.
How's it
Dude,
going,
you
fuckhead?
changed. I don't know how to feel. Like your image has changed, and I feel a little weird.
What, you feel weird that, with my awesomeness?
Well, that of course. I mean, that goes without saying. But it's been that one drawing for so long on like the lined paper that I don't know. I'm adjusting.
Yeah, I colored the lined paper. I thought it'd be time to do that.
What?
You're looking a little blue, mate. Looking a little blue.
So sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt what you were saying, Ryan. But it's like,
Oh, no problem. Everybody's saying hi, getting in.
That was
It's
entirely
not-
my
Blink
fault.
out,
I
mate, blink out.
apologise.
it's
No,
yeah,
like
of course. Yeah.
No, at the end of the day, what it wound up being was just like we went back and forth. But he immediately started saying that I was arguing some kind of politics. I wasn't saying anything about politics, and
Yeah.
I don't know what Trump has to say on the subject. But I guess he and I apparently agree. But yeah, it's that emotional response. It's emotional responses to hyper complex issues that I take exception to.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like if you've got friends of 10, 15, 20 years that you can't even bring up a topic or have a conversation without them walking away. Talk about division. Talk about creating a combative environment.
and your wife's friend she just up and left, and there
Up and
was
left.
like in the car, driven away.
Gone. Yep. Didn't come back. Nothing.
What a-
It's probably the end of a friendship over her just saying, this is probably overkill, and I don't really agree with having to wear a mask everywhere. It's not like that's it. That's enough to end a friendship, apparently. So what is it? You apply that to the whole world or just the country. It's like this is what's going on. This is the animosity, and
Well, your wife committed the sin of heresy.
yeah,
That's she questioned the orthodoxy, and as a good adherent to the tenets of the religion, your wife's friend excommunicated her
yes.
forthwith.
And this is isn't this what the system really relies on? Is that each individual becoming kind of the police? They're policing everything for them. It's like none of this works without that happening. They can't keep everyone in check or everyone doing what they want them to do. So it's like you have to have individuals becoming the thought police. The behavior police, and it's like obviously this works very well.
Can I just? I have to ask a question. Can we clarify what type of thought we mean?
In terms of it being policed,
Yeah.
I would say any thought that goes against the mainstream narrative. Thought that
Okay, so not
in
the-
terms
not
of
the
this
ones that dance
conversation
on-
with COVID, it's like any thought that suggests it's not this huge dire fucking apocalyptic thing that could end humanity, and that we should we need to close everything down for it, and everybody needs to like sanitize, just basically walk around in a bubble all day.
So it's got nothing to do with Twitch, just to be clear.
Well, I don't know. Explain yourself.
I
Oh,
think
you're
after
talking
Fuckhead
about.
started, e-thoughts.
Sorry, God, I'm slow. Sometimes I'm really slow. My mind wasn't even. It was so far removed from that. I get it now. Thoughts. Yes, I get it. God
Come
damn
on,
it.
you are talking to a dip lipstick, so my brain does go and do weird things sometimes. We all know that.
Right. Oh, Gargoyle says I always interrupt. Yeah. Well, maybe. I'm just a loudmouth asshole, I guess. I apologize for that. Anytime I interrupt, just smack me down. Punish me as I
don't know if you-
deserve.
Just as you said loudmouth and asshole in the same sentence. Did any of you see the video I posted the other day that I found on UK Twitter? And there was a young man being arrested because they'd seen Vaseline in his car.
Okay.
Wait,
Oh,
he was
and,
arrested because he had Vaseline in his car?
Yeah. And there was a lady police officer explaining to, I think, one of his friends at the time, or someone who was trying to help him anyway, that some people like to use Vaseline to hide drugs up their bottom. And this young man turned around to this lady police officer, and I thought it was fucking brilliant. He went, "So if you've got Vaseline in your car, is it for your lips or your arsehole?"
Oh man, it's insanity. It's just getting so crazy, and I do think that it connects to this topic. In terms of ComicsGate, we're working to protect our entertainment. Specifically comics, but I think all of us, we're experiencing it in film, in video games, all across the board, every medium. We're trying to protect, what we love, the things we love. And I think it's a bigger battle because where we find ourselves with all of this, what's going on out there, it's interconnected. It's all interconnected with, if we let them get away with it in something that maybe isn't all, crucially important, like our comics or our entertainment, what do SJWs do? You give them an inch and they're going to take that fucking mile. So it's like all these fights are important, they're all important.
Yeah, I think the tough part is that we know how many battles there are. Like, I know exactly, I'm aware of the cultural war that we're engaged in. I know where all the conflagrations are, and part of my problem is there's a part of me that feels like I need to fight all of them, and
Right.
and I know it's absurd, even Jordan Peterson's like, you gotta battle in the domain that you're competent in, and that was a terrible Jordan Peterson. I've been working on. Listen, Bucko. I've been working on my Jordan Peterson.
That was better.
I got to lead in with the listen, Bucko.
Yeah, you got to use the most known tagline just to get yourself in the mode. I think it helps get you in the right place. But yeah, there's something to be said for that. We should probably focus our energies where we could actually make a difference. If you spread yourself too thin or try to take on too much, you're probably not going to achieve anything.
No.
So here we are in ComicsGate. We're definitely focusing our energy and fighting hard. And I think we're winning. We win a lot. ComicsGate wins a fucking lot.
They do. They do. And the other thing that's interesting about it is that it's wholly unreliant on anything but people that are interested in comics. So I think Ethan Van Sciver was pointing this out the other day. The only people who can counsel us are ourselves, which Warren Ellis did, I guess, the other day. Warren Ellis, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was
unfortunate business. Oh man.
Stupid, moronic.
Getting canceled for trying to get laid. I mean, this is where we're at, right? I mean, now it's like.
Well, a conspiracy theorist could say that that was the whole plan the entire time.
Right.
Like make the mores of civilization loosened a bit, and then when everybody's morally compromised, then tighten it back up and throw all that back at everybody's face.
Ooh.
But
nice.
That's a conspiracy.
That was well put. No, is it? Here we are. We're watching it happen. I mean, it doesn't seem that far out there to me, but
certainly not.
I'm kind of I lean that way anyway. In terms of conspiracy, I tend to fall on that side of the fence anyway. I don't know. So I kind of wanted to. I have a couple videos maybe to check out. Do any of you guys play video games? Are you familiar with the Last of Us Part 2 debacle going on?
Oh,
Yeah.
I saw a clip from it, and then just for me, I didn't even know what it was from, and I was like, nah.
I'm familiar with it because it's like one of those tendrils that I'm familiar with, but I don't own a video game. I don't own a video game machine. I don't have a. but I'm familiar with it. Yeah, the first one looked great. If I had a PlayStation, I definitely would have picked it up.
Yeah,
I like this Ryan guy. He can come back again. He's funny.
yeah, he's fantastic, dude. Is this your first time on a stream, or have you been on others?
I've popped on with EVS, and I've been on War Campaign, just like pop-ins, like nothing.
Yeah.
I did drunkenly show up on War Campaign stream once, and I was yelling about attractive trannies while I was drunk as shit. It's horrible.
Sounds perfect, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. No, you're good, man. I like what you have to say, and you say it well.
Thanks.
So, okay,
Thanks.
Welcome to the show.
Now you've just got to say it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And eventually...
Yes. So, Heels versus Babyface. Welcome to the show, Samir.
Hello.
You there?
Hey, Samir.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can. We can.
Don't you have like a chat room or something? You just when you see somebody, they just pop in. I mean, don't you filter or something like that, like the other streams?
I'm not sure
No.
what you're asking.
If you filter it, I wouldn't be here.
No, you're all right, Samir. It's,
No, because a lot of streams like Oz's stream, there are a lot of people in the chat. Then somebody brings like people in. Anyways, how are you guys? How are you doing?
Hi. Good. Good.
we
Oh,
are
oh,
good.
good,
There is no filter here. Testify has been on. There can't be a filter.
Yeah. No. It's basically an open format. Kind of first come first serve. If you want to be a part of the discussion, people are welcome to come on. Yeah, so
okay.
it's good to have you. So this is Heels versus Babyface. He's a fairly big YouTuber. I've been a fan of his for quite some time.
That's great.
He's definitely right in there with ComicsGate. He's I think he's been on EBS's show
He has?
a couple times, and
I
he
think
was on the
vice
Jack
versa.
show. Like he's all about it. So he's talking about here this kind of what's going on with the ratings for Last of Us 2, which is just, as I understand it, a complete what they've done to the characters that people loved from the first game. They've just made a mess of it. And so let's hear what he has to say on it real quick.
What a surprise. And of course, they've been using very predictable, yes, I'm going to be using this word a lot on them, arguments, and of course, referring to this sort of thing going on here. User score bombing, as they like to refer to it as. Now, this is the current state that it's in at the moment, with 96 critics having reviewed The Last of Us Part 2, giving it an average score of 95 out of 100, and 43,356 users giving it an average user score of 3.7 out of 10. Now, I'm not going to play that silly game. I didn't play it the other day, and I'm not going to play it now. Yes, I doubt the vast majority of them have actually played the game. I also doubt that some of the users have played the game either. Yes, that was a critic.
So I mean, if you're not familiar with Az from Heels versus Babyface, go check out his channel. He's absolutely fantastic. He rails against SJW nonsense all day, every day. Just slam dunks that shit all the time. Big comic book fan as well. So, you know, what do you guys make? It's like we have this shill media, right? That's just, it's going to give The Last of Us Part 2 a near perfect score because of its SJW qualities. And then the media will then become outraged when the actual players, the fans of the game, the franchise, give it a low score. And we've seen this pattern over and over and over again. What do you guys think about this shit?
You know what irks me about all this?
Yeah.
People keep saying if you haven't played the game, you don't have the right to review it. If you don't have the right to have an opinion about it. That's what really irks me about, like, first buy the game and then talk about it. Why?
Right.
Like, watch the movie first and then talk about it. I mean, that's I don't know, that argument really bothers me, and I am seeing it even in the country where I live. People giving that argument, like, first play the game and then talk about it. That
Well-
really bothers me.
Yeah, you can't get a refund then. You know, if you hate it, you can't get a refund.
Yes, and
Exactly.
there are retail shops that have signs that they won't refund the game anymore after this.
Yeah, that was like a day later. They're like, no refunds on this game.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
And no trade-ins either.
That's
Yeah.
when you know you fucked up.
Oh, it's bad. It's
When you know
really
you fucked
bad.
something.
And I would agree, Samir. I would agree with you on games, especially because of YouTube. Because there are so many top-notch people out there that review games and also play. You know, you can watch someone play the game. You can see the game for yourself and make before you decide to drop that 60 bones to get it. So you're getting a lot. You really have an informed opinion about it. You don't. You're not. It's not in the dark. They're not just blindly saying this. It's based on a lot of, truth and fact of what the game is. So, yeah, I don't think it's. And As does go on to say that, like, look, these are valid. This is a valid response to something. You've taken beloved characters. You've trashed them. You've made the fans of your franchise very unhappy, and it seems like they've done it on purpose. Why? My question is why? Why would a company do that?
Agenda driven. Plain and simple. It's Neil Druckmann. He's got an agenda. He said it plain and simple himself, literally in those words, that he has an agenda. And because of that, he's made this. I haven't played it, but
Yeah.
I can still call it shit because it looks shit. Game that's basically all about driving the agenda, and it's got rid of any real story that could have possibly gone on in this.
Well,
I just-
yeah.
It blows
Go
my
ahead,
mind.
Rod.
No, go ahead, please.
No, it's just the onion layers to peel back on what's happening. Let me see if I can focus on it. Like, okay, so like Samir said, why do you have to have had played the game before you can make a review of it? And that you would have to purchase the game. That you would be pressured to purchase the game before you could actually authoritatively say any opinion about it would work really well for the corporation trying to sell the game, but it doesn't work for the $60 that I'm out that I can't return. And then,
Yes.
Moreover, what Dave was mentioning, the fact that there are enough individuals within these creative product fields that believe, like, really truly believe what it is that they're doing is so important that they don't mind if it scuttles the ship. They don't care that they're grinding their corporations in the ground, because you got to remember, they're not free market capitalists anyway. They don't give a shit. They don't care. And they'll tell you, they'll call their shot. They called their shot. Druckmann called his shot. It was not too long after The Last of Us came out that he was talking about going down this sort of intersectional feminist route for the game.
Yeah. I just find it hard, I find it hard to believe. It's just so weird that a company knows they have this hugely successful. All they had to do was create, they knew exactly what the fans wanted. They knew exactly what would have been a huge hit. You can't tell me they didn't understand that.
No, they did it
And
the first time.
they willfully went down a path that would cause exactly what we're seeing. And it's like, what is this clown world we live in where a company would willingly and knowingly kill their own franchise?
Yeah,
It blows
so
my
you-
mind.
So you're not asking.
You know
you're not
what's
asking-
really sad? That the game actually looks really beautiful.
Yeah, it does.
The game
Certainly.
Yeah.
It's a technical marvel. The animations and the way they did stuff like the rope dynamic, like interacting with the rope and everything. It's really still a technical marvel, even though it's not on. It should have been for the next. It does not have the next gen kind of feel to it. Like it's still like the first Last of Us. It's really a carbon copy of it, but still the game is really good looking, and the gameplay is not bad either. The gameplay
Sure.
is not bad either. I mean, people are saying like the jump is really redundant. It's not useful. I don't think so. The jump mechanics. I mean, the way they marketed it as something really innovative, but still, uh, the gameplay is really good. I like the gameplay. I haven't played the first one and neither the second one. People are complaining that the controls are a little bit stiff. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's because of it's a console game, and like the aiming
Yeah.
with consoles is still really difficult. But the gameplay is really good. It's just a story. The story ruins everything.
Well, and that's what, obviously because of the nature of these companies, they have access to the best talent in the world to produce these things. We know that it's going to look beautiful. We know that more or less the gameplay is going to be there.
Well,
This
look at
isn't the
its.
problem. This isn't the problem. A gameplay can be great, but if the story and what they do to the characters you love makes you fucking miserable, what good is the gameplay?
Holmes said, yeah, what you guys are not thinking is twofold. The way I see it, a game company who has a successful game and follows it up with a terrible game. They only do that for one of two reasons. One is they hired a marketing company or a consultant company to figure out the demographics of
Mhm.
how to get more uh, eyes on their product, to get more shares for their company, to build bigger. And the problem is that whoever they hired as a consultant, they told them a lie, and they believed it.
Well, I wonder who they hired as a consultant for Last
you-
of Us 2.
That's the trick, right?
Yeah.
Do you really believe that?
Well, here's the other thing. Uh, a company like this company, I don't think this company is a private shared company. I think it's on the stock exchange, and
More
they
than
have
likely.
Actually,
have a-
Naughty Dog is owned by Sony, so I believe that is true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, think about this: if Sony were to spend the shareholders' money like they did, um, haphazardly, irresponsibly,
Yeah.
not only do they have to answer to the shareholders, but they also have to answer to the law, because they have as a shareholder, or as being reported to the shareholders, all that stuff. You believe there's some sort of legal
Mm.
setting or framework that requires you to actually work in the best interest of your shareholders. And if you don't
Correct.
do that, your shareholders, you leave yourself liable to your shareholders, and your shareholders can revolt and actually
Oh,
cut
that's
the
very
company.
yeah. That's a really interesting point you bring up.
So what happened is, just like Disney, they really messed up when they actually did not do their due diligence properly. They listened to one person, Kathleen
Yeah.
Kennedy. Sony
Oh, God.
here, they most likely listened to a consulting company telling them, "Oh no, the demographics on the social justice warriors, they like this stuff. They will buy this stuff." No, it's been proven time and time again. They
Exactly.
spend
But
$0.
this is where I have to okay, we do have a track record for this. We have a track record for these exact kind of moves failing miserably over and over again. At this point, we've seen it. There's a pattern. You're telling me this company wasn't aware of that pattern of failure?
See, you're projecting yourself and your sensibilities and your world into other people, including these
Am I?
executives. Yes, you are, because these executives, if you think of on a critical point of thinking, no feeling here. These executives live in a bubble. They don't
Okay.
bother. They don't know what the price of milk is or the cost of bread. When they go to the gas station, they don't care or how much the gas costs. In fact, I don't even know if they even drive themselves. They always get driven. They live in a different class.
Okay, but they live by doing exactly what you were saying, by
yeah, but
increasing the value of the shares in their company. That's
that's
their
right.
job.
That's
So
right.
they've got to have research, like know
No,
what's going on in the marketplace, don't
it
they?
doesn't go. It doesn't go that way. A corporation would
Okay.
hire a consultant agency. Consultant
Okay.
agency will tell them what to do.
Mhm.
They don't get involved in the creative.
Mm.
They don't get involved. They don't get involved in the creative at all. To them,
Interesting.
they think the creative is just going down to a different level. The creative is what it is. They're going to hash it out. They're going to fight. They're going to argue, but eventually they're going to have a polished product. That's what they will look at, the polished product. They don't care how it's made. They'll look at the Lamborghini. They don't care about the insides.
Okay.
That's the corporate world. And so when this thing comes out and it doesn't make money, that's when the executives are going to come back and say, "Oh, well, I guess we messed up." Why?
Oh, let's double down.
No. It's not about doubling down.
They
When they say,
will.
So
when they say,
there,
well, hold on, I'm almost done. When they say they messed up, the problem is that they've spread the decision making across multiple departments and multiple executives. So when there's a problem and it comes down and there's a mistake, there's no one held accountable. They just shrug their shoulders and say, "Okay, next time we'll do better," because everyone is complicit, and no one wants to point the fingers at somebody because they spread the liability across multiple departments, multiple executives, and that's how
So
they're able to continue putting out terrible product. That's the
So by
corporate.
watering down the accountability.
That's right.
well, so I think you're right, George. It's just that the one caveat I would add is that while the shareholders, I think are what's the word I'm looking for? They're disassociated from like the shit that's happening on the ground at the executive level, the people under the employee of whatever corporation it is. Let's just say, let's take a look at Disney, for example. Like the Last of Us 2 is completely analogous to the Last Jedi. It's the same things happened. It was
Yes.
a huge, expensive, beautiful, polished piece of shit that lost,
shit on heroes.
Yeah, the shit on heroes. It hit every single beat that The Last of Us 2 hit. But it also lost a huge amount of money. Now I don't know where Last of Us 2 is, but the Last Jedi lost a lot of money, and it scuttled that entire franchise, hobbled it all the way through the Rise of Skywalker. And when I was watching some Clownfish TV reports, they were saying that they were listening in on the
Shareholders meeting.
Thank you. The shareholders meeting, and they were trying to ask the Disney, like, why are you guys fucking up? Why are you losing us all this money? What's going on with these movies? Why are they losing money? And my man Iger just kept obfuscating and moving and slicking and sliding around. And I think you're right. The shareholders, they don't understand the reality on the ground because they're far removed on their golf courses and their hotels and their big houses and shit. The executives are kind of the same thing, except they're bought into the whole intersectional culture out of either actual belief or fear. And
I would argue that it's more they've been promised a delivery of a cultural shift in this specific direction, and it's been promised on the basis of such a large holdings of mainstream media from every medium, from print to digital to film to television to even like education system. They're like, we're pumping this into everybody's brains 24/7. We promise you, this is the new direction of culture.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can make your decisions based on that, and it's probably been pretty accurate. The thing that's changed, there's been some factors that have changed. I don't think it's going the way that it was intended to go. There's a lot more pushback to all of this, thankfully.
But here,
So what do you think of that?
Let me throw something else into this thinking. I'm opening this up to the panelists here, and of course the chat that's here. Hail Death Metal Hero, El Gargo, and everybody else. How long does it take to make this video game? Anybody know?
A few years,
This
maybe
game
4, even 5. I don't know.
Okay,
This
what
game
was
took,
the,
I think, 2 years.
okay? What was the landscape that when they were making the decision to move forward with this game and narrative? Anybody
What do you
remember?
mean by landscape?
What was the landscape? The political landscape, the social landscape? 2 years ago, 2.5 years, 3 years ago. Anybody remember?
Well, we were knee deep in this intersectional kind of philosophy.
That's right. We were at that. We were at the apex of all this BS, and everybody was riding the wave. What did we get out of it? We got, terrible movies, Terminator Salvation or whatever it's called.
So they hadn't actually experienced those failures yet.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. But see, so to me, they were acting on a promise of what the culture would be when this game released.
They were.
That promise did not happen.
That's right. Yeah.
Thankfully.
It's very difficult to steer a ship in terms of making a game of this magnitude.
Right.
I think it's worse than that. A few years ago, I was doing masters for advertising in a university. I will not disclose the university, but there was a common theme I noticed while learning marketing. There were a lot of SJW professors there. I mean, I live in Pakistan. Most of those professors learned all this cultural Marxism and all this from universities abroad. They come here, and then they were teaching they were teaching history of media, but they were teaching history of media from the lens of the cultural Marxist lens, from their SJW lens. And there was this belief that companies need to virtue signal. Like, they need to be a part of the community. They need to do something for the community to have a good perception, because every corporation and their brand and their sister companies need to maintain a perception amongst the normies that they are really into helping the community. They're really into helping the country, and this is a must in all these corporations. So when you have all these professors, they're teaching this in universities. So when you have all these people coming into agencies, marketing agencies, and they learn this, and then they're also disconnected, which George said, that they're disconnected from what the audience is saying. So with the combination of that I think this you get this kind of a culture. I think I don't know about your universities, but I think they're learning the same thing.
Yeah,
I mean, if we are learning this in my university in Pakistan, I can imagine what you guys are learning there. So
that's a very, thank you for bringing that to the table. That is very insightful, actually. It's
all over the place. I can tell you right now, like I said, I work for public schools, and I'm probably kicking myself in the dick for saying that, because I'm probably docked now. But yeah, it's in our training materials. This summer, I've got all kinds of materials, and in every single section of our training is the intersectional woke Marxist stuff, to the point where in modules that we were supposed to be using is a godforsaken bachelor degree style essay about Karl Marx and his importance to education, and how we have to check our privilege because of the, what did they say? Because of our natural privilege, and I believe that we're referring to white people, and then the master and slave relationship, because of the master and slave relationship of the teacher and student. And I was floored. I was like, this is really in our training materials. Somebody mowing a lawn? What the fuck's going on?
That's your
Dude, every Monday it's always a risk. I've done, like, this is the 35th episode and I've gotten lucky every time, but today I guess is that date. So I might rely on you guys to talk a little, do more, and Gargoyle's like, thank God, shut this fucker up. But it is really fascinating for me to hear, like, just how worldwide, how widespread this is. It's being taught everywhere. It's permeated everything. And I think these corporations have based their decisions on how widespread this is. They're projecting into the future, like, we have to make this kind of game because when it comes out, this is going to be the rage.
On the education system, so I was lucky enough. I went to 2 universities, but this is over 16, 17, 18 years ago now, and it was rife then. I went to 2 art schools, and it was everywhere. This mentality was everywhere then, and this is almost 2 decades ago. So if you think it's in the art schools, it would have started in the arts first. It would have started in drama class, because we all go to university for drama these days. Well, look, you look at people who run the BBC. Look at all the stuff in British television. Most of those people have all been to Oxbridge. Like, it's all fucking there. It's been there for decades, and it's gonna take a hell of a long time to unpick it. But the thing that always sticks in my head about going to art school is there's this one kind of little rule that all the students learn very quickly about all the fucking tutors. Those that can, do. Those that can't, teach. And when they teach, they decide that they want to fucking make an impact because they can't do it any other way anymore.
Oh, I went to a teaching school because I became an art teacher. I went to art school. I didn't have to deal with the wokeness that you did, Captain, because and we would have been going to school about the same time. I went back in 2007. I was a little late.
I was a bit earlier than that.
Okay,
but
yeah. Our school was split up into like 2 camps, and that was like the realist kids, the kids that painted and wanted to learn the skill of painting, and then the postmodern kids. And we didn't mix very much. I was on this side. And I didn't get the postmodern nonsense, though I learned enough of it to rap about it and talk. Well, not actually rap. I can't rap, but like to talk.
I got well excited there for a second.
But I missed all of that. Like our critiques were vicious. We really went at each other. Lord knows I was politically incorrect around me and my friends, but I didn't get that. All this stuff is relatively new to me. I didn't even realize any of the stuff was going on. I actually had another point too, and I forgot what it was. I got distracted. But yeah, it was. I couldn't imagine going to an art school. Oh, that's right. I went to teaching school. So after that, and after going to art school, I needed an actual job that could make me an actual salary so I could pay these bills. So I was like, oh, I'll fucking teach. So I went to school, and it was fine. It wasn't too woke. I did nothing.
What year was that?
I went in let's see, 2010 to 2012. And so this is before Trump and all that other nonsense. And of course, it's always liberal and left leaning in schools, and I was used to that. I'm a bit of a libertarian, so I kind of phased in and out of phased back and forth between those kind of ideologies. But when I was in teaching school, I had a class, and one of the professors told me, and this sticks to me to this day. I remember sitting there. He said, "Eventually, your job isn't to stay in teaching; it's to get into politics." And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, getting into politics? I'm here to teach kids. Like, I don't want to be here to get into politics. And in a weird way, I guess he was right. In a weird way, it's like I don't have a choice. It's like I'm eventually going to have to get involved. But once I get involved in the fashion that I want to, I'm basically fired. So
that's the thing, and Ted Lehman makes an interesting comment here about a KGB man who defected from USSR and talked about this planned shift in culture. And there's a lot of that out there. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that this isn't just some kind of fumbling around by corporations trying to stay ahead of the trends or hip cult. It's like there's a driving force behind it, and it tends to be very well funded and have a lot of power. What the end game is, who's to say? That's probably, that's up to the individual to come to those conclusions. But you can certainly speculate.
Well, over in the UK, you can see the difference. I went to university, did my first degree about 5 years ago now. At the time, there was like 6-7 different bars on campus. Brilliant. Everyone there having a good time, barely getting by in uni. That's what it's all about. But then I've gone back to do my master's this year. I'm just at the end of it. They've got one bar left. And everywhere you look, someone is protesting something or trying to get you to vote for something or change something. Mm-hmm. And it's terrible. You can't walk through a corridor without someone asking who you're going to vote for. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, just
yeah.
Put the bars back and leave me alone.
Yep. Splendopia says the end game is just money, and that one's hard for me to swallow because it seems that the system is more than willing to lose money at an alarming rate to push an agenda at times.
It's
and
maybe
I think there is. Yes, money is certainly tied to power, but it isn't the end all be all of what power is.
I suppose what you do when you get all the power, though? Do you end up with all the money?
I think that's what the thing is. I think that's what Spendopia is getting at. Is money follows power and power follow money. The two are intertwined. Like all this shit that's going on about all around the world at the moment is talking about racism and all that. None of that fucking matters. It's all irrelevant. Like racism has always existed. It will always exist. You will never ever be able to eradicate it entirely. It's just impossible because humans are fucking humans. Like that's how we are. We behave in weird, unexplainable ways.
Well,
I do think. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say the thing that's going on at the moment isn't about race. It's about class, and there's a reason why we have a class-based system, and there's a reason why we have trickle-down economics because trickle-down economics means trickle up.
Right.
The funny thing about racism is that it does exist. And the reason why it exists is because we have different countries, different cultures. Mm-hmm. If it didn't exist, then the entire world would be one culture.
Which is what they're trying to do now.
Yeah, it fails in its conception.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it fails in its conception, and it will, and eventually it will die on its weight of merit. But until then, everyone will kind of be, oh, this is okay. This is, we'll just humor them until they end up coming from Mount Rushmore. Is Mount Rushmore our line in the sand in the United States?
Interesting.
I mean,
Where's the line in the sand? Where's the line?
It's fucking
if you
kilts
got-
in Scotland. They tell me I can't wear a kilt. I'm going to start fucking going ballistic.
And that is interesting. It's like and I think when
They're
it comes
taking down
to
the statues on the street. Now they want to take down the
They
statues
are.
in a museum. In a museum.
and people can say like, okay, well, fighting against this, The Last of Us 2 is so. It's just a video game. It's a stupid game. It's entertainment. Is it an important fight? And it's like, well, yes. If you don't want it to come to fighting about Mount Rushmore and about things that are incredibly important, you better draw that line in the sand early and soon, because it might already be too late. Like, we gotta start fighting it early on, because they've already gotten too much headway into things, and it's starting to get to look at what's happening in the streets, what's happening out there. People willing to throw away their freedoms because a
little
news
bit of
story
security.
says they should, and it's like, are you kidding me? This needs to, it needs to stop. We need to draw that line in the sand now, not when it's already at the, like, where we're like, no way. It has to happen now. It probably already should have happened a long time ago.
Can I talk about a little bit about Pakistani cinema?
Yes, please.
Because
I
it's
would love to
relevant
hear
to what's going on in Hollywood. A little bit relevant. Pakistani cinema, after the separation of India and Pakistan, was doing really well, because most of the artists that were in Indo-Pak when Pakistan and India were mixed, most of them were Muslims, and then when Pakistan happened, a lot of the talent migrated to Pakistan. And at the start, we had really good cinema. I have Indian cousins. They didn't watch their own dramas. They used to watch Pakistani drama, because there was a little bit of nuance in it. It wasn't completely dramatized. It was more gritty and more realistic. And then if you talk to somebody else, they'll give you a different kind of narrative of the history. But then Zia Haq happened. General Zia was one of the first dictators of Pakistan, which took over Pakistan, and they instated their rules in Pakistan. And one of the first thing they did was censor Pakistani media. That was the first thing that they did. And after that, the Pakistani media has never recovered.
Right?
Has never recovered. And we try our best. Dramas were sort of doing good, but now they aren't. The Pakistani cinema is dead. Our cinema completely depends on Indian cinema. And every time something major happens between India and Pakistan, Pakistan tends to censor Indian media, which ends up completely destroying our cinema. That's what happened. And the only thing playing in Pakistani cinema is American movies. Sometimes Japanese, but that rarely happens. But
Wow.
sometimes, but most of it is Indian cinema. And it hasn't recovered after that. I can't tell you. I have worked in TV channels a little bit. I think it's because of subsidies. Like the government keeps subsidizing channels, but they don't seem to. Subsidies never work, because they tend to encourage bad behavior, right?
Yeah,
I think it
exactly.
happened. The channels never recovered. The cinema never recovered. And once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah,
So-
dude.
so-
No,
This
I
is
love-
something.
I love
You
getting
guys.
Yeah, I love getting this perspective from
Samir, I
somewhere
have a
else in
question.
the world.
I have a question
Yeah.
for Samir. How is Tariq Fatah received in your country?
Tariq, is that the Indian? Is that the Indian dude?
Yeah, that's the Indian dude
Oh,
that had.
I think I follow him as a few times, but I think he's considered as a traitor in our country. Even in the public, even if you ask the average, because I think the average Pakistani does not know about him. but when somebody does, they consider him as a traitor. And to be honest, I mean, Tariq Fatah is kind of playing the, he's kind of a little bit tribalistic. So you have to take his point of view and at a grain of salt. Some of this stuff he's saying is on point. I mean, a lot of his stuff he says is on point, but he's saying it from a really patriotic, really patriotic and tribalistic lens. So that's my perspective, at least.
How controversial is it for you to be? I mean, I'm assuming you're a pretty big fan of ComicsGate. You're involved. You're
I'm the only fan of ComicsGate in Pakistan.
Dude, what a tagline, man! That is powerful.
Man, I have talked about ComicsGate to my cousins, a few friends in the media, and they don't get it, man. They don't get it.
Right.
I mean.
Samir, hold on a sec. Can you put your email in the private chat? I'd like to send you a download copy of my book.
Oh, very nice, George. Very nice.
George is awesome that way. George is
in the private chat.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay.
Or you can connect with him on Twitter too. I'm sure.
I think we follow each other on Twitter.
Yeah, send him a DM.
Okay, give me a sec. I just want to confirm. I don't mean to rail, on the conversation. Please
no,
continue.
this is great, man. I love that your generosity, George, and you're always reaching out to people and willing to share your knowledge and
George should know by
creativity.
now that you're going to take entire credit for joining hands across the world, rotten glory.
That's right. Of course. Why didn't I already? What is wrong with me? I'm off my game.
I found you. Yes, we are following each other. Okay,
Sim's in the house. Very good.
How you doing, Sim?
Yeah, man. That it's just fascinating to me, and these battles, they're all important. I think it's been brought up already, but wherever your skills lie, wherever you have strong abilities, focus your energy there. You can make a difference. Everybody can make a difference. And ComicsGate is part of making that difference. I love watching EVS crush SJWs practically on a daily basis. He continues to do so, despite all the nonsense that there's stuff going on.
My real concern.
Who cares? Yeah.
My real concern is that the control of social media. That's my real concern, because that's where all the freedom is.
Yeah.
And if we lose that, I was really hoping when Donald Trump got elected that he would do something about it.
He's trying.
It should have been like the first thing he should have taken control of.
He's trying.
Honestly speaking,
he put a bill forward a couple of weeks ago, didn't he?
Yeah, but this is like his fourth year, and he did it in the fourth year. He didn't do it.
You're right. He should have done it right away.
Mike Cernovich keeps talking keeps complaining about that Donald Trump should have this should have been the first thing.
Absolutely correct, because I'd like to add to what he's concerned about is that TikTok, which is controlled by the Chinese, they orchestrated on their platform to reduce the crowd that was in the last rally that Donald Trump was at, and this is clear case of election meddling, and it was done in the open, and it was also supported by the Democrats. So while they're talking the hypothetical Russian collusion, the Chinese collusion actually happened in front of us in the last 2 days. And if TikTok, I think what's his name, give me a second. Scott Adams said very nicely, if TikTok exists in a week from now, the government's not doing their job, because it's 100% collusion, interference in the elections, and it's run by the Chinese.
Not just TikTok, but DLive too.
DLive as well.
Oh,
DLive is owned by Chinese too.
I had no idea about that.
And Zoom.
And Zoom.
And Zoom.
Which all of your public officials use for communicating with one another.
So either that or Google or Gmail, I discovered the other day.
right?
No, Samir, I think what you probably the gears of our government is specifically made so nothing can get really done very well, and that's by design. But then, but I would say that you might see Trump make a real push for some, I don't know, let's call it Google reform. It's antitrust issues will be pushed. I think maybe the next 4 years, because
he's got to push this. He's got to really fight for social media, because he has to understand that was a huge part of how he got elected.
Yeah.
In the first place. I mean, memes actually worked in Trump's favor. Social media platforms were massive for his rise, and it's like he knows that. I know he's aware of it because he knows how to manipulate it so well. So he's got to be forming a strategy to fight for it. I hope so.
That's what that last bill was for, wasn't it? Because it was forcing platforms. It was basically the move was to force platforms to declare that they were no longer platforms and actual publishers, because they were editing content,
which would lose them a lot of money, right? Their whole status.
Makes them legally vulnerable for that editing.
Yeah.
So it can put them in the judicial system, which then would basically they'd fucking lose a shit ton of money.
I haven't checked in on that. I'm not sure where that stands as of now, but I need to check in with that.
From Samir's perspective. Samir, what would you recommend a platform as a platform?
A platform?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I mean, keep doing what I think everybody in ComicsGate should keep doing what they're doing, but also duplicate their content onto, like, for example, BitChute, Minds, even Gab. Though Gab has a strong anti-porn policy and they're kind of very opinionated, but I mean, just put your stuff everywhere.
There's also another platform similar to Twitter that's appeared recently. I don't know if you've seen the hashtag Twexit.
Twexit?
Twexit, yeah. There's apparently all the racist, far-right, white supremacists are leaving Twitter in Twexit, heading over to a new platform. I can't remember what it's called, but it begins with a P. And that's where they're all congregating now. And even to the point, I have seen MPs from the UK go, bye-bye Twitter, I'm going to this new place. See you later.
Okay, wow.
Parler? Is it Parler?
Parler, that's the fucker, yep.
Okay.
And you're saying this could be potentially a good alternative or a horrible alternative?
Well, they proclaim that they're for free speech and all that bullshit, but actually when you go into the TOS, just like Google, just like Twitter, just like every fucking other platform, if you dig down deep enough, you will find that line. We can edit or remove any of your posts or your entire account at our free will without explanation.
Yeah, just like the Atomic Deuce, the show I run on Friday night, gets nuked pretty much every week. And I have no idea why. I don't know if it's being false flagged. I don't know if it's just a YouTube bot saying, see ya.
That's just
but yeah, it's really frustrating.
You got someone who don't like you, mate.
Yeah, well,
someone don't like you, Ron.
I can make a guess. It's
Stop being so
easy to
outspoken,
figure
man.
that one out. Yeah.
But everyone was getting flagged that day, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mindy Wheeler, I think. What's her name? Mindy.
Mandy Summers?
Yeah, Mindy Summers got flagged, and a few others also got flagged.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
The plot thickens.
Something going on.
There's not somebody watching everybody, is there? There's not happening. No.
No. It
I
couldn't be an organized
YouTube,
attack.
I think on YouTube, though, the way I'm looking at it at the moment, I think once you have been flagged, you're on the fucking list. And if you're on the fucking list, you're getting flagged again, period. YouTube they'll just use that list just to play with you. Because I get
that link.
I get it.
I think I heard from this YouTuber that if you keep getting flagged and it keeps getting like the flags keep getting removed.
Yeah.
Like if you keep fighting them and it keeps getting removed, your YouTube channel kind of gets stronger.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. But all
Then
this
keep
links back to
flagging me,
Naughty
please.
Dog as
Keep
well.
flagging me. Keep flagging me.
Not
I feel like if you hit 1,000 subs, I think YouTube starts protecting you a little bit more as well. That seems to be what I see.
because they're making money off you.
Right. It's like until
That's what
you
it is.
hit that, you're kind of like, we're not going to expend a lot of resources.
I don't think YouTube is making money.
No,
I think YouTube is
I
losing
agree.
money.
I agree. It's
No, but they're
subsidized
still-
by
they're still
Google,
getting it, yeah.
100%.
No,
Just
you-
so they
you-
can have control. So they can have control over the largest video platform on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I'm hoping
doesn't-
for BitChute to become better because it has that peer-to-peer, that the same technology that Bitcoin runs on,
Yes.
and it's easier to maintain, it's cheaper to maintain. I'm hoping that becomes bigger because
everybody needs, at some point, we all need to have an exit or a Brexit from YouTube.
Twexit.
To exit. To exit. You know, it's because YouTube right now, they are even censoring. So YouTube, I was just watching, what's his name? Tucker Carlson the other day, and I noticed that his comments were turned off. The comments, YouTube comments were turned off on anything related to race or George Floyd or any of the recent police involved shootings, and just turned off. And then Google demonetized the Federalist and another conservative outfit newspaper because, as they cited, there were offensive messages in the comments section.
Yes.
So it's not necessarily Google's goal, at least at this point, to nuke anybody's channel, though that happens. What their goal is to make sure that we don't communicate with one another, that we don't share opinions and memes and information,
Yes.
and that's the goal, and that's what they're going to be doing.
Yeah.
But what's deemed as offensive comment?
Doesn't matter. I mean, I
Wrong
think what
thing.
it is that they
Anything
did. Well, there was, guarantee you, there was no specific comments. What it is that is a blanket excuse to nuke your ability to get a litmus test for what people think and feel. Because in
Right.
those comment sections, that's some real ass shit. That's some real ass shit you're going to read. And especially if you read a lot of comments, you're going to get a good litmus test for what people really believe and feel about the subject. And if it's
Yeah, dude. Turning off comments is basically it's more or less destroying the whole purpose of engagement on the
exactly.
platform. I mean, it's just
But
What is the
that's what
point?
Neil Druckmann did with a few of his Naughty Dog tweets. Turn off
Sure.
comments, only specific people could comment
Oh,
on it.
yeah,
They knew
that's-
we would get the responses he wanted.
yeah.
this
Makes it
Twitter's
to an
new
outsider, it looks great. To everyone else, you can see exactly what they're doing, but they don't give a shit because they're thinking right. Or
Right. Yeah. What
this
was that, Samir?
This Twitter's new policy. This new option of censoring, like choosing which comments you can have on your feed. I mean, that's I think terrible. It's turning Twitter into Facebook, basically. And Facebook is really bad. Just out of curiosity, you are all ComicsGate people. Have you ever met anybody on Facebook which is directly connected to this ComicsGate network? I mean, mostly what I've seen is like people recognize each other, that this guy follows me on Twitter, so I'm going to friend him on Facebook. Like most of it goes like that, but you cannot discover people discover ComicsGate people on Facebook.
Interesting.
this
I don't.
about
I
Facebook.
stopped using Facebook quite a few years ago, and even with being involved with ComicsGate, I haven't found a reason to go back to it. I just can't. I hate it so much.
I'm right there with you, Rob.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Facebook's a hot mess. Twitter's a hot mess, but I got off of Facebook, a long time ago when my mom kept posting political messages, and I'm like, Mom, I can't do this anymore. So I left Facebook, and apparently it just got worse and worse. Can I offer another conspiracy theory?
You can. I like
Sure.
them.
As long as it's about your mum.
So what I think is happening too, another strategy that's being used is that what Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, and all of these other social media companies that adhere to these sort of like leftist ideologies, is that they can't fully get away with just nuking your ability to say something. So I think what they've been doing is isolating and partitioning communities. So, for instance, if you'll notice that, like, say, the biggest ComicsGate channel out there right now, I would say, is EVS's channel, right? But it's been stuck at 130,000 or so subscribers, and
Right.
there's all kinds of. We all, I'm sure, are familiar with the chicanery going with that. But I think what the goal is, and this might speak to what you're mentioning, Samir, the fact that you can't cross-reference or get cross-suggestions between ComicsGate creators, or not creators, but like ComicsGate-friendly people cross-platform. I think what's happening is that they're basically, their algorithms isolate, like cordon off different groups of people, so that we all might be talking about ComicsGate and promoting ComicsGate and trying to push it, but it's just going into a wall.
So we're always just all preaching to the choir. We're not reaching outside of that. So
Exactly.
we're gonna have to, I think it's important that we be aware of that. We understand it is going on. We can see it plain as day. So we have to work and come up with strategies that overcome that. We do have to figure out ways to speak to people outside the cordoned off little zone, don't we? We got to get better about that. And if we just have to do it. We've got to make the effort. And that I'm speaking to myself as well,
I think we need to make. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I think we need to make groups on Facebook. I see lack of groups on Facebook, and it's not all bad on Facebook. I do get friend suggestions. Do you guys get that? I mean, I think they added this a few months ago.
Okay.
So
I don't know. I haven't used it.
Yeah, I keep getting friend suggestions, and now since I just added, I added EVS, and after that I started getting friend suggestions from like ComicsGate network, every day. So
That's
it's
cool.
not all bad. So I think I think they have kind of loosened it a little bit, because I think then it's kind of noticed that people were moving out of Facebook, and they need people back again. They need the engagement again. So I think we should at least create groups. At least we should have groups for our channels. We should have fan sites for in Facebook, because on Facebook ComicsGate is not active. I mean, in Pakistan we don't use Twitter. I am the only freak that use Twitter in Pakistan.
It's a really
You're a
good point.
ComicsGate
I
and Twitter
think
freak.
I'm gonna take that to heart. It's not It's just a personal preference I have.
Because in India, I think
I
in
don't
India
enjoy
also,
Facebook, but you're right. We need to plant our flag there for sure.
I definitely think there's a cause for growing ComicsGate. Ryan's right in what he's saying. Like, for example, I found ComicsGate through EVS, not through ComicsGate.
Same
Literally
here.
on one of his rants. And that's kind of just what you notice is people, when you use, especially like hashtag ComicsGate, the only people that will see that are people that hate ComicsGate and people that are already involved in ComicsGate.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it doesn't go anywhere. It just stays there.
Agree.
Yeah.
We need to somehow
100%. One of the
get it
things-
out and sort of. Go, mate.
Yeah.
So with CG UK, and I can testament to this because I've done it on plenty of occasions, to find people who are ComicsGate in the UK is not a fucking easy thing to do.
No, not at all.
And what Mark and I have had to do, sorry, Rotten, I know you don't like me bringing him up.
What?
Commie Mark, of course, Commie Mark.
Oh, why would I not like you bringing him up? I love Commie Mark.
You just keep
He's
telling
a
me off
commie.
every time I do. But we as the pair of us have had to sit and sift through different hashtags on Twitter, but based around comics and based around in the UK, just to find people and connect with people. Like
You guys found me?
it takes fucking effort. Like it's hard work But
Yes.
it's something we all need to be doing, because otherwise, like if we said it before, Rotten, about this Anna thing. Anna, you were absolutely right. Anna was a huge, and has ended up becoming a huge benefit for ComicsGate, because she's now into comics. Now her
Yes.
170 fucking followers, or whatever they are on the YouTube anymore, I don't know what they're called anymore, are all fucking giving her money for a cover that, okay, whatever, it's her cover, and they might be getting into comics. Like,
Yeah,
that's what
they're
we
gonna.
need to be
They
doing.
they might then shift to Cyberfrog, start watching EBS's channel, and he's gonna promote another.
Yeah.
And it's a domino effect. It all helps. So
It's
yeah,
like even the people say that about Dynamite. Like, all right, she did the cover for Dynamite, which the whole controversy is it ComicsGate, is it not? I don't give a fuck. It makes comics. It's helping ComicsGate in a way.
yeah,
Even if they were getting into Dynamite, that's something at least getting people into comics more. And the more Dynamite works with ComicsGate, then spreads the awareness. So
yeah.
I
That's a
don't
win.
see the whole anger
Well,
against
Um,
bringing.
yeah,
some of that
I
in.
can make an argument for that.
Yeah, go on.
I think what I have felt, like I'm going to steelman the. You know what a steelman argument is? Like putting the best argument, even though that person never said their argument. So I'm going to steelman the war campaign argument.
Okay.
I think some of the people are afraid of the corporate culture sweeping into ComicsGate. I don't think it's going to happen. But there is a danger, because, like George said, that when these investors start seeing that ComicsGate is making a lot of money, they're going to like think, oh, let's invest in these guys, and then we're going to have that kind of corporate culture and corporations. I mean, I don't think Dynamite is a corporation. It's still a small company. I've checked, like it's Dynamite is owned by Dynamite House, I think.
Yeah.
It's still relatively small, but like imagine if some Chinese company starts investing through another name into ComicsGate.
But
Like I think there is a danger, because I am for small corporation. I am for ComicsGate trying to employ mainstream companies and mainstream artists. But there's still a danger of corporation. But I differentiate between a company and a corporation. Corporation cannot exist without the state.
Yeah.
A company can, because you have to treat a corporation like a person, but
Yes.
you cannot treat a company like a person. A company is still a group of people, and corporation is like you have to pretend that it's a person. So
Right.
because of that, there's a danger of that. But I don't. But unfortunately, War Campaign never made a good argument for that. And then this.
And I don't think so. And it's like, when it comes to comic, it's not a singular entity. It's an idea. It's a collection of creators. It's a network.
Yeah.
It's a way of thinking. You can't take it over. You can't invest into it per se directly. You can invest into individual creators in ComicsGate, and it's up to those individual creators to protect their own interest and to maintain control over their IPs. That's up to the individual. And if that
that's why I
individual
think it won't happen.
if that individual ever relinquishes too much control to some corporate entity, then it will be the fans that go, hey, we don't think you're ComicsGate anymore, so have fun over there doing that. We'll be over here doing ComicsGate. You know.
Yeah, I think you're bang on there, Rot. I think it's anything like that is completely and it's also completely down to the individual creator. If they decide that they want the outside investment, if they want the outside influence from other corporations or companies or just even people, it's completely up to them to do it. But they've got to be aware that it is the fans that run ComicsGate and nobody
Exactly.
else. If the
I
fans
think
don't
And
like
it's
it,
fluid. It's
See you
ever
later.
evolving, and it's fluid. All the that's
That's exactly what I mean. Because, and this is going to shock a few of you, because you know you're not going to like it. I started reading this, Amazing Spider-Man Volume 5.
that.
Right.
Why wouldn't I?
It's
that's
not
cool.
a ComicsGate book, right?
Uh-oh.
But I know.
How dare you? That's good Ryan Otley art too. I love Ryan Otley.
Yeah, no, it's actually pretty. To be fair, it was pretty decent.
Little cunt.
I know, it's quite nice. But the fact is, I back ComicsGate books, but I still read Marvel. It's those sort of people, the hybrids. That's what I'm going to call myself, a hybrid, that you need to bring in. You need to get those people, all right, they read mainstream. But if they start backing ComicsGate books and help that grow, what's the issue? It's the fans, it's the customers.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're not letting SJWs in
Hey,
to
look,
ComicsGate, you're not getting them destroying the industry.
Fucking Kickstarter, kill me. You know what I mean?
There we go. Mate, you're cancelled. Fuck off. Right.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
man.
sorry, you're going to end this?
Yeah, I'm getting to that place. I have,
Okay.
I have a job.
Needs to
I have
do
to
work,
get back
man.
to. This is a really good conversation, though. I've enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, Rotten. And
Dude, I
it's
loved
nice
having you. I want you to come on a regular if you can.
Hell yeah.
I'd
Sure,
love having
yeah.
you on.
Yeah, I
Do
would
you have
love
any? Do you have anything you'd like to shout out?
If you want to follow me, anybody wants to follow me on Twitter, I'm at Ryan Miller Art, and check out the Lost pages by by Zade Comics.
Fucking sexy looking book.
Yes,
There's some
Yes.
really fun stuff happening there. So
most
yeah.
definitely. What about you, Dave? You have anything you'd like to shout out there?
No, again, thanks for having me on. I'm
Yeah.
starting to find my feet now, feeling a little bit more
Good.
confident.
Nice.
Used to my ugly face being up here, which is good. Yeah, follow me on Twitter, Bristolian Dave. As I said, I think I am going to end up creating a YouTube channel and just setting up a few things.
Cool.
Basically,
I think you should definitely, delve into film on your channel at the
that's-
very least, because that's your big
Yeah.
passion, man.
Yeah, it's going to be film. It basically physical media in all forms that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Go on reviews, hopefully do some live streams once I build it up a little bit.
Nice.
Get people knowing who I am.
Very good.
Yeah, and just I should chill a book as well, shouldn't I? Starblades, Carl Ritter, one of the best books I've ever
I
seen.
haven't heard that.
Art on
I
it
haven't
is
heard that one in a
unbelievable.
while. Yeah. Yeah.
I know. I was like, why is no one talking about this anymore? I went and looked at the art again. I was like, oh.
Well,
it's
we
so
know
fucking
how
good. So
busy
good.
he's
EVS
just months
keeps
late.
Kyle, so it's like
Oh, yeah.
we're
Every
a little
time he
worried
posts
how
the art
long it might
update.
take.
Like, I'm just waiting every time. Art update.
Yeah. I know he'll get it to us eventually.
Yeah.
How about you, Samir? You have something you'd like to shout out?
I mean, just follow me on Twitter.
Is that is Samir the way to find you, or?
No. Yeah, you can search Samir CG. That's I'm using that. Like it's S Samir H Rizvi. So you can follow me there. I keep posting my. I keep doing. I'm trying to do sculpt art for ComicsGate. I'm trying to do sculpt art for ComicsGate
Nice.
campaigns.
Nice.
So you
Yeah,
can
I'm
check
looking
me
at-
out there.
I'm looking at it looks like a anthropomorphic lion guy. It
Yeah,
looks really cool.
that's my
Ooh.
old concept.
Oh, that looks
that's
good, man. Yeah, I'm checking that out too. Hold on a
Let's
sec.
put it on the screen.
Let me get that pulled up. That looks really good.
I'm sculpting right this minute. You want to see what I'm doing right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is one of Samir's sculpts right here, or a
No,
concept.
that's not a
for
sculpt. That's a drawing.
Oh
It's a
shit.
concept for a sculpt. Yeah. That looks fantastic.
That should be a concept for a comic.
Yeah.
I am
reminds
kind
me
of working on a comic.
Very cool, dude. You're good.
Yeah,
Let
but
me,
the problem is I'm a little slow right now, so I need to
Ah.
speed up. This is a sculpt I'm doing. That's a battle metal made in knuckle bomb from Kyung Lee.
Nice.
So,
Keep those lights on, man. Keep those
Wait,
lights on.
wait. No, this is just a fan. This is just a fan piece. He didn't ask me to do it.
No,
What-
it's
oh, what the
great.
hell happened here?
Dude, he will absolutely love this, man.
So
Just so
I'm
you know,
trying to do
Samir,
this.
if you believe all the rumors, we're all part of CG. We're all a little bit slow, mate.
Yeah,
good work, Samir.
I just need to get a little faster. Then I'll start really thinking of doing a comic book. My problem
Nice,
is I'm a
man.
little slow right now.
Yeah, it just the more you do it, obviously. Just got to keep at it. And to reach out to people. There's a lot, everyone in CG, most of the people I've interacted with, very willing to share their knowledge, share their tips about how you can save time. Just talk to people, you know.
Okay.
This is great. Nice.
Yeah, good work.
Yeah.
Very cool.
George, what you got for us?
Just go to georgepetergadgets.com, and that's simple. Click on the links, subscribe to the email list to get all the wonderful discounts that's going to be coming up on the next campaign.
Very nice. Very nice. And Captain Fuckhead, I know you've got a big show happening not too long from now, actually.
No, what's the time? An hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It is a Monday night, so of course you should 5 p.m. Eastern. You should all be tuned to Captain Fuckhead's channel. Tonight is the Fans Hour, where it lasts longer than an hour, but we're all fans. And there's one rule on this show: to earn the right to shill for your own book, you must first shill for somebody else. And this evening we have the Buddy Lord is coming on. We have Mr. Peephole Circus, the infamous Western Sheepshagger, and we also have of 6 a.m. Comics is coming on.
All right, man. You guys kind of hit it off with him, yeah?
Yeah, 6 is I like him a lot. He's a funny bloke.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. Yeah.
He's great, dude. He's got a lot of talent and a lot to give ComicsGate. He's a great personality, man.
The other thing I will say is on Thursday, so I know normally on a Thursday it's the ComicsGate interviews live. We all expect it to be ComicsGate creators. Well, this week is actually Peephole Circus. So it should be quite interesting because it's going to delve into the painting because he's, as we all know, he's a Cecil fan art.
Yeah.
Shits them out for fun, basically. I couldn't think of a better word there. And so it should be an interesting conversation to have with him because it's a different side of what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Why is he always sad?
Who?
That the guy the fan art guy that does Cecil art.
People.
Are you talking?
Are you talking about Peephole Circus or Lucius?
Lucius. Oh, I thought you were talking about Lucius.
Yeah, Lucius
sorry.
is another one that he does crank out a lot of Cecil fan art, and I can't tell you. I talk with him quite a bit, and he does seem to have an air of sadness about him. I'm trying to break him of it. I'm trying to cure him of that, but I really don't. I actually think he's a pretty positive guy. I think he takes what he does very serious, and he's a very thoughtful guy. So I think he comes off as a little sad sometimes, but what a talent.
Peephole is the I'm looking at his stuff right now and I love his paintings.
Yeah, he's got the book Phantom
that is
right
correct.
now.
Yep. Phantom.
Yes.
Phantom Volume 1 is out now. It's 44 pages of Peephole Circus artwork. 44 pages. I think he's going to do a stretch goal to add another 4 as well. It's
Beautiful.
A5, so that's little for you American people who don't know what A5, A4, you weirdos. And you can buy it for as cheap as $10.
So cheap.
Beautiful. Nice. Well, I thank my panel for being here. This was one of the best discussions I feel we've ever had on Midday Repartee. Really enjoyed it. Thank you to the chat. Always contribute a lot. And we will absolutely see you tomorrow.
See you later.